Hey everybody, this is Chris Mercado checking in with you from Long Island, New York in the United States of America. Now, this lesson is for week 2 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera.org. Today I'll be covering the process of recording audio into a DAW from my home studio. Let's begin with the recording audio checklist. If you take a look at my session, you'll see that I have it set for recording audio, and when you go to Setup, my hardware is set to 48 kilohertz. All right. I'm also recording at 24-bit. And if you also look at my playback engine, I'm set to 128 samples for my buffer size. Okay. Now, first thing you want to do is create a track. When creating a track, you must first decide if your input is going to be either mono or stereo. Let's go to Track, New. So create one new. It could be mono or stereo. Audio track. Create. Okay. Common mono inputs are vocals, bass guitar, or individual mics on a standard drum kit for possibly a snare, bass drum, or cymbal. Common stereo inputs can be keyboards, the output of a turntable, or even a piano. These rules are not set in stone, and many times a producer might break these rules to create a specific sound or technique. Regardless, it's a great basic but very important step. Number 2. Name your track. Naming a track from the very beginning of the session is wise and necessary. Once you're in the heat of creating and editing, the last thing you want to do is try to figure out what audio is which. Name your tracks from the very beginning so you have a solid reference point every time. For the purpose of this lesson, let's title this track Main Vocals. Okay? Next step. Set, record, enable. After checking to make sure your speakers are not turned up to prevent feedback, arm the track by engaging the record enable button. Alright, let's do this here. What it does is prepare the track for recording, and depending on the settings on your DAW, it also allows you to monitor your incoming signal. Next step, setting levels. Now that your record enabled, it's time to set up your levels. This is very important as well. As we've learned, improper levels can lead to a noisy or distorted recording. Adjust your gain to the optimum levels as best you can. Also be aware that additional processing on the channel, for example a compressor or limiter, will change your levels, so adjust accordingly. Check this out. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. My levels are set. If I get loud, 1, 1. No problem. They never go into the red. Okay? Next step. Turn on, click, and count off. Every DAW has its own way of adjusting a click track and count off. I personally like to enable a separate click track, and depending on the parts I'm playing, set the count off for either 1 or 2 bars. This is very important, especially if you're recording with multiple musicians. There needs to be a solid reference point for time for everyone. Now I'm recording vocals, so I'm not going to set a click track, but if I were to, I would just go to Track, Create Click Track, and there it is. Okay? And I would make it audible by clicking this button, and the metronome would be ready to go. Okay? But I'm recording vocals, so we're not doing that. Next step, record. Now it's time to record. Make sure you're recording at the highest possible resolution so you have a great recording. Again, I'm using 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, and a recording buffer size of 128. Remember, the lower the buffer size when recording, the lower the latency. Let's try recording some audio. Yes, yes, 1, 2, 1, 2. We are recording. Look at that. There's a waveform. Check, 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 check. 1, 2. Yeah, yes, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice and loud. Even when I'm loud, the amplitude goes up, but does not distort. Yes, yes, yes. Okay? So now you have a recorded waveform directly from my AT4033 Audio-Technica mic through my inbox, low buffer size and everything, right into Pro Tools. So after taking a little time to learn how to record from my screen using QuickTime, all went pretty smoothly. I'm very lucky to actually work in the music field, so I actually do this almost every day on a Pro Tools high definition system. After you've done this a few times, your creativity will really start to flow. This is Chris Mercado from Long Island, New York in the United States of America. Hope you enjoyed the demonstration. I'd love to know what you thought and get some good feedback. Thanks a lot.